How's it going, guys? It's Choco the Chocobo, and I'm back with another live tactics super setup. Blah, blah, blah. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different in terms of the layout. I'm not a huge fan of this kind of thing. It doesn't play to my strengths, so I don't usually like playing like this. But it is something I do want to acknowledge. It's not by any means a weak idea or a weak class approach. It is a really strong class approach, actually. But this is a stealth fighter. Now, stealth fighter is a little bit like, it sounds weird, right? Like stealth fighter, like I thought you were supposed to, be like tactical, take someone out, move on, that kind of stuff. Hit and runs, guerrilla warfare. And yes, it is. And it hasn't really deviated much from that formula. But the thing is with stealth fighter is that you are basically saying to yourself, I want to get the drop, but I want to also be able to fight multiple targets at once. You're hoping that you're able to take them all out in one engagement as opposed to having to spread out the engagements and only going after stragglers and stuff like that. It's really helpful if you find that the lobby you're playing against, especially if you're playing with friends and you get matchmake against other people that are playing in parties as well, it is very handy actually to be able to have a class that is a good enough damage dealer, still stealthy and still able to move around very efficiently, but is stealthy and also just kind of strong enough to lay down fire and say, hey, listen, I can take out 2, maybe even 3 people if I get my shots off correctly, and am able to just generally be a pretty strong influence on the battlefield. Very, very handy. And so I do want to go over the class first. Ghost, just so you can move around very quietly. Toughness, which again has been nerfed in Advanced Warfare as far as I know. But definitely something that will help you a lot whenever you're going after multiple targets, right? You may drop the first guy, but there's a very good chance the second or third guy may turn around and be like, hey, wait a minute, what? And they'll start returning fire. Being able to keep your reticle on them and then hopefully you'll get the first guy down and get maybe 1 shot down range on the next guy. Then a couple more shots extra. This will make the difference, hopefully, for you. Engineer, know where they are, get an idea of where their equipments are, where they're bunkering down at. Tactical mass so you don't get locked down. Semtex, because as opposed to the frag grenades, I personally prefer frag grenades, but Semtexes are faster to throw. Hands down, faster to throw. They stick on objects. They're great for moving and just cruising through areas and clearing out whatever needs to be cleared out. And the EMP grenade, of course, just to flush out equipment as well as kind of knocking some people's sense of direction down a little bit. And I actually have not played this map very often in Black Ops 2. I actually really enjoyed this map. I believe this was a Black Ops 1 map. Something I really enjoyed too. Alright, so right there, I'm just going to scout ahead. I'm going to toss that Semtex, just kind of clear out the area, but it looks like there's people above me, which is kind of strange. Looks like they all went that way too. Dang, alright. So we're going to push up here, and we're going to look for an opportunity to get a positional advantage, right? So this, yep, we got the drop on their spawn. Oh, my aim is so bad. Oh gosh, yeah, my aim was just really bad. Right there, that would have been an easy double and a pretty good turnaround for a third. And the reason why I'm using the MTAR is because the MTAR is the balanced, well, quote-unquote, balanced class, right? So what that means is that this gun is not supposed to be exceptional in firing rate, nor is it exceptional in damage. And that should give you a fairly good representation of, if you're using any AR, customize it to your playstyle. But this is the middle of the road. This is just kind of like, a jack of all trades kind of gun among the ARs. And so hopefully what that means for you guys is that you can find a gun that better fits your playstyle, and you're going to be able to do some real serious work with it. Now, let's see. Did see that guy over there. He's creeping up, yep. Oh, man. But yeah, again, gunplay, it's kind of iffy on my part. Definitely something, though, where you can see I get the first guy down. It takes him a little bit longer than normal to acquire the next target. And on console, it's definitely going to be something that they're going to be a little bit more on point for usually if you find some decent players. But, oops-a-doodles, I threw the wrong thing. Alright. So let's go ahead and just keep on putting bullets down range. I'm hanging out a little bit longer than normal, but because I am using an AR, the damage output is pretty good on it, that I can afford to do that a little bit more than I could with, like, let's say an SMG or a sniper or something weird, because I do have enough bullets in the clip, in the magazine, so I can just keep on firing down range for a little bit longer than most people would be able to do with their weapon sets. This class, however, one thing I will say about it is that it's extremely weak to the extreme weapons. What I'm saying by that is, if you are fighting against a shotgun or a sniper, you are going to have a hard time if you are in their territory, because this is more of a middle of the middle of the road kind of setup more so than a particularly well-versed setup for one situation. And because of that, you have some drawbacks, you have some pros that don't normally exist, but definitely something that you do have to pay attention to. And I am playing a very dangerous game right now. But right there, those guys, positioning-wise, they weren't really sure where I was coming from, which is really, really nice. And you can see they're trying to flush me out here. I have counter UAV up, so I'm a little bit more aggressive with like how I'm camping, which is nice. Oh, I'm right there. Flak jacket would have normally saved me, but I stuck around the same place too long, and then the guy threw a C4 at me. That was more of a. I'm gonna write that off as unlucky. It's kind of, that was just really bad timing on my part, and there's not much you can do about bad timing, unfortunately. So, ooh, sentry gun. What is up, my dog? Oh, dang. Alright, let's press up. Whoa, dang. Yep. That was just kind of an awkward situation. But definitely, again, these class tactics things, they're kind of generalized approaches for how I think it'd be a good idea going into Advanced Warfare to kind of think about, hey, I want to set up my class like X, like Y. And these will do that for you. These will help advise you in terms of, hey, you know what? This is a good way for me to start setting up my classes, and it calls it to attention, hopefully, for you guys. Hey, you know what? What kind of playstyle do I normally have? What plays towards my strengths? What's going to get me the most output in Call of Duty whenever I start out? I want to be able to hit the ground running, right? Like, you guys want to start off and be like, hey, listen, new game, new playlist, new maps. A lot of people are just not going to know what to do on these maps for a while. I want to be one of the better players out there when it starts running. Then once the game starts running, I don't want to be spending time wasting it going, hey, you know what? What do I want to do? What kind of player am I? What am I good at? What am I weak at? You want to be able to hit the ground running. So right there, MTAR, again, middle of the road, right? It's not the AN-94. It doesn't have the kind of damage output to really make you go, wow. But it does have enough damage output and has enough range on it that you can engage in any distance. And right there, I got the drop on 2 people, like not right that second, obviously. But whenever I got the double kill, it was a situation where, had it been a different gun, maybe not. Maybe it would have been a little bit harder for me to get that double, because I wouldn't have had enough bullets, I wouldn't have had the necessary damage and time to kills to nab it. But it is nice to have an AR stealth class on deck, and also this kind of calls out to a lot of people that play more competitive game types. Ooh, dang, got rocketed. But for people who play a little bit more competitive game types, hardpoint, search and destroy, stuff like that. Well, maybe not hardpoint. Hardpoint's a little bit different. But if you are playing something like search and destroy, or something where the respawn timers are really, really long, so if you're on like competitive playlist or whatever, it does help a lot to be able to say, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and run the stealth class, and it's going to be jack of all trades. This is going to help me figure out really quickly what kind of lobby I'm in, and I can drop people, and I can still do work, and I don't have to worry too much about fighting against my class to get some kind of production. This class will generally get you pretty safe production. It's usually not going to get you the really crazy things in production, but it's usually good enough that it gets you a little bit something for your efforts, which is nice, because you definitely do want it to pay out a little bit. Oop. Oh, also, very important thing about going into the next Call of Duty, and especially because you are going to have people that have verticality in terms of movement, you do want to make sure that when you pull the trigger on any of these classes, and this is more of a general gunplay. This is kind of just a general tactic for gunplay. You do want to try your very, very best to make sure that the first shot is a guaranteed hit before letting bullets fly, because once they start panicking, especially with increased mobility, that's going to be a lot harder to hit them now. Maybe not so much in console, depending upon how swift and how aggressive aim assist is, but you do want to be careful. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. This was a stealth fighter class. If you guys did, be sure to hit that like button down below, comment down what you'd like to see next, and of course subscribe, and look forward to new first-person shooter content. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.